Hello guys, how are you all? I'm Rohit, and in this video I will be explaining you about FastAPI. So many of you have heard about FastAPI, right? So it is a too much popular framework nowadays. So in this video I will cover all the core concepts of FastAPI. I will compare older frameworks and new this FastAPI framework, and we will see why is too much popular, and also I will explain all the core functionalities of the fast API. So let's get started. Hey guys, now let's understand the definition of fast API. So fast API is a modern Python framework and it is used to build APIs quickly and easily. So basically we read fast API because and it is easy to code and easy to make the APIs by using fast API framework. And do you know why its name is fast API? So because it is very fast to code and very fast to run. That's why its name is fast API. So in later in this video we will understand how does it run the code and why it is fast to code. So let's move next. So there are two main libraries in the fast API. So first one is Starlight and second one is Pydantic. So first one is Starlight. It takes care of request and response method. Like when we are using an API, so a request is sent to web server. Also, response is sent from web server to client. So it validates that request and response, and it follows some protocols like HTTP, and later we will discuss about it in depth. So and second component is pydantic. So it manages the types like string, boolean, number, etc. So the pydantic helps to validate that, and we can read this definition like it takes type hints, type checking, default values, nested data, and produces clear error message if something is wrong. So now you can easily understand that what does pydantic do. And now let's understand how does a normal API works behind the scenes. So there is a web server which continuously listens request from the API. Like when a user sends some request, it listens here on the web server, and there is a middleman that converts web server requests into a readable format for the Python code, because all our Python code doesn't understand the request format. So it helps, this SGI helps to convert that thing into a readable Python request, so that our function can easily understand what does the request say. So what does SGI stand for? Let's understand. So SGI stands for Server Gateway Interface, a generalized concept describing how web servers and Python application communicate. So basically it is saying that how does web server and Python code communicates. It helps to make the communication easier. So when we request, there can be four methods like get, post, put, and delete. So when do we use get method is if we want to fetch data, like there is existing data in database, and if we want to fetch that data we use get method. And if we want to send a new data, then we should use post method. And third one is put and fetch method. So what it does, it helps to update the existing data. Like you have name in your database, and if you want to update that name, so you will use patch method. And if you want to delete that name, you have to use delete request. So what is the main flow of this, that a client sends a request to web server, the web server sends the date request to SGI, the SGI converts the request into readable format for Python code, and this Python code easily understand that language and then sends response to web server. So this is the overall flow, and same like that our fast API works. So now let's understand how does the fast API work. So there is a web server, and the method it used to convert the request and response is asynchronous server gateway interface, that is ASGI. and it uses Starlet library here to validate request and response as we discussed earlier in the video. And this is the Python code that retrieves data, and all the functions are here. So let's understand what does asynchronous means. Asynchronous means, like, suppose you are in a hotel, like this is hotel, and you have ordered something to waiter. So waiter goes to kitchen and it serves your requested food to your table. But what if four clients have requested something? Like, let's understand three, and wait. So in that case, waiter will go and it will send say that there are three orders in this case. So in asynchronous method, whoever date food is cooked first, he will serve to it. Like h this h2 has uh, his food ready in 2 minutes, so it will take it from kitchen and serve to h2. Then after, if food of h1 is completed, so it will serve to food to h1. So in this case, so whoever food is cooked first, he will serve to that one. So same in this API call also, there can be multiple API calls. So in that case, whose data is available first, it will serve it to web server. So in this way, this fast API works, and it uses the UVCon server, and this Starlet library helps to validate the request and responses uh, for API code. And this is all for the fast API. And why it is fast? Because in previous, like Flask, we have web server, and like, and that's name is GUVCon. And the SGI protocol used there was web server gateway protocol, and it uses that library is workgeo. So basically what it does the same thing. It validates the request and response, and sends data to web server. And workgeo, it's a library that helps to validate the request and response. And in API code, there is all the functions that are available for uh, data retrieval. So here, earlier in earlier cases, synchronous method was used. Like, uh, you have gone to a restaurant and you have ordered something to a waiter, and he will go to kitchen. So in this case, uh, so waiter will serve food to you. But what if there are two more customers? Like this is R1, this is R2, this is R3. So in this case, what happens is when R1 has ordered something, R2 has ordered something, R3 has ordered something, it will first serve food to R1, then to R2, then to R3. So this is synchronous method. And in asynchronous, what does we do? We just take the date food of person which is available first. So that's the difference between synchronous and asynchronous methods. So this the asynchronous method is used in fast API. So this is fast because it takes the response of the data that is available first. So it helps the API to execute first. And but in the previous versions, the data was not uh, even if the data was available, it does not serve to the API. It only serves for the first API, then for second API, for third API. So that's why it is not fast. So this was the overall flow of the fast API, and let's sum up this. So basically, FastAPI is built on UVCon, Starlet, and Pydantic model, and it lets you to write APIs fast with less boilerplate, built-in validation, and documentation. So what does FastAPI do? It provides a documentation also. Like there will be a documentation. This is inbuilt. So later in video we will see that how does this documentation look like? And fast api is simpler, good for small. So basically what it is about flask. So flask is simpler, good for small jobs, but doesn't give these features out of box. So basically we have seen that it use synchronous method and slow. So we do not use flask. And in for modern apps, microservices, high traffic, IO bound tasks, fast api gives you big advantages. It is high, its performance is high, made for fast api because the fast api work is asynchronous, and it automatically generates documentation so client or teammates can see how to use your api without you writing docs manually. So basically what does this point say is, you write the code, the documentation will be provided by them. So guys, do share this video if you like this. So like this video and subscribe my channel, and thank you. Let's meet in next video. In that video we will see how does fast api code written, and we will code that in VS Code, and I will share it with you. Thank you guys. Take care.